Hey, it's Christine Rose of ChristineDecode.com. Sorry I'm late. Jane decided to have to use the potty and take forever on the potty right when I was about to go live. So, parent duties, parent life. Anyhow, for those who know me, hi. For those who don't know me, hi as well. I'm Christine Ruiz. Dane, could you not sing so loudly? I love your voice though. Hey Jay, I was just saying, Dane decided that he needed to visit the potty literally right as I was about to go live. So I was upstairs just waiting on him. So anyhow, I'm Christine Ruiz of ChristineDecode.com, mother to the owner of emobyava.com, and I also have checklistmates.com. So a mom, a wife, an entrepreneur, a business owner. I'm a Pisces. I'm a big dreamer, really into mindset and positive thinking. I love to talk a lot. So doing things like Facebook Live is great because while I love to talk, I also love to learn, to read, to think, to feel, all those different things. So I like to get on here on Mondays through Fridays and share different information, things that I know, things that I've experienced, whether it's business, or even relationships. So today I wanted to talk about all of that, right? Business, entrepreneurship, marriage, and parenthood. Really want to talk about communication, about goal setting, about productivity. Because I think quite honestly, even if you're not a business owner, even if you're just someone, or not just, but if you're someone who has a career and you work for a corporation or you work, in an office and you don't work for yourself, but you work for someone else, those things are still important, especially when you're trying to juggle all of that. So I wrote down a list of things to consider. Obviously, it's not the end all be all, doesn't encompass everything, but I think if nothing else, this is a conversation starter. And before I get started, really quickly, I'll know how to do my, hi Lisa, thank you so much for sharing my video. I shared, so Lisa Washington, I first met her during my Whole Foods Market days when I was doing the marketing in the South region. And I met her because she was trying to promote her friend. Her friend had a nonprofit and she was actually met with me at Whole Foods to get some things going for her friend. I ended up meeting her, learning that at the time she had, and she still does have a skincare line that she created, and just really met a phenomenal person. So this morning I was sharing one of her Facebook Lives where she was going over not smoothies, but juicing, because she's really into health. She's into yoga. She has her husband's kidney, so he's been super awesome in her life. So I just wanted to share. And hi, Mike. So anyhow, sorry, I had to say hi and give Lisa her shout out because I just really appreciate her. She has been like my relationship and sort of self-care guru in my life. And I think we always need those people. So anyhow, a few things. Number one, I think when it comes to whether you are, married and with kids and you are an entrepreneur, so maybe you're doing consultancy or coaching or things like that, or maybe you're an entrepreneur and you're doing social media management or you're managing someone else's career. I think whether you're in that, whether you're running a business, whether you're in network marketing, whatever, I think the key thing is to, number one, be clear on your goals. Be clear on your goals with yourself. Be honest with yourself about your goals. And if you have a life partner or you're married, hi Julia, you got your cup, man? Dame's having me pour him something to drink because even when I'm doing my Facebook Lives, toddlers don't care about business. They just care about their immediate needs, their goals. But anyhow, communicating those goals. And like I said, a big part of communicating the goals and being clear on them is the honesty. I think sometimes when we are a business owner or an entrepreneur and we have goals, it's weird. We can be very open and honest with a complete stranger, but when we are speaking with our spouse or our life partner or someone we're with, sometimes we feel nervous. Like, are they going to be okay with it? Are they going to be on board? Are they going to judge me if I don't meet those goals? And you can sometimes have that fear or that doubt or that anxiety, but I think it's very, very, very important to be clear on your goals, be honest about your goals with your self as well as with your partner. I always tell my husband all the time, and I really think about it, when you are married, when you're in a life commitment, there's not a competition between you and your partner. You guys are a team, right? So you have to look at it in that sense. And so your partner should never be your demise or rooting for your failure, because what affects you affects them, and what affects them affects you. So I think it's just very, very, very important to be honest and clear on those goals. And of course, write them down, write them out. Don't be scared to see them on pen and paper or print them out and be able to physically look at them, so that you're constantly keeping your eye on the target. So number 2 is have a system. I think whether you are old school and everything is pen and paper and pad, and you like to write stuff down and you have a physical planner. I'm a little bit old school. I have my planner that I use. My husband is in IT, so he is very technical. He's very into, he has our family calendar on Google. So it's really great for organization wise, because I'll put something on the calendar. He puts stuff on the calendar. With 4 kids, it's a lot of people to keep up with. So he's really big on using technology, but have a system. Even when it comes to how we sort of go about organizing our businesses and his job, his work and the kids, we're not always on it like we're the best at this, but we do have a pretty good system of everything goes in the calendar. And typically on Sunday nights, that is sort of me and my husband's meeting. We're having our state of the union, our state of the household. And so we're able to kind of look at the week ahead, what needs to be done, who has appointments, who has meetings, anything after work hours. Are we going to have to maneuver pickups and drop-offs, any stuff like that? We operate in our sense sort of like we have a system, and I think you have to figure out with you and your spouse what works for you, but have a system. If you are in business, it's really important to have a system, or even if you're in network marketing or entrepreneurship, because 9 times out of 10 you have clients or customers and you need to keep up with them. So having some sort of system, whether it's, like I said, pen and pad or computer, whether you're using Excel or you have an actual CRM, there are a lot of different, I think Asana is one. I use, and I have actually I don't have a link to the trial, but I do have a link because they're doing a free webinar tonight. But I use a marketing platform that does have a CRM and some other things that has sales funnels, a lot of different components, but have a system. If you don't have systems, and a lot of times, I'm pouring juice for Dane, it's easy to get off target. It's easy to get overwhelmed when you don't have a system. So systems aren't about being rigid, and it's not even necessarily a thing of being super corporate or rigid, but really with systems, you need some sort of system so that you have some sort of organization, some sort of streamlining, something to keep you on target and on task. So definitely systems. Number 3, communicate if and when your goals change. I think a big part of that is, especially depending on your personality and your partner's personality, but for me, I am a Pisces. I'm definitely the yin and the yang. I'm 2 different vibes sometimes flowing within one person at the same time, and I change. I change my mind on things. I get focused on different things. Not so much shiny object syndrome, but that I am constantly learning and growing. And as I grow and learn myself, things are I become more aware, and then I sometimes have the goals I have or the things I'm involved with sometimes change. I might have had a monetary goal, but now I have something else that I've introduced, a new income stream that I've introduced. So now my focus, as far as the breakdown of percentage of where the money comes from, might have shifted. So whether it's a change like that, or whether it's like I want a complete career change, I think having goals is good because you kind of know what you're working towards, but realizing that we're human beings and we are evolving and growing and discovering. And with that, the likelihood that our goals may change is high. But I think you want to always make sure to communicate. Because if now, hi JL, if now I'm doing something different that requires me to maybe be on conference calls on the weekend or something like that, that's going to affect family time and self-time and couple time. So making sure to communicate those changes. 4 would be diversify. And I say that because you don't want to always put all your eggs in one basket. You want to diversify your streams of income. You want to diversify just who you are as a person and the things that you're involved in. And I think so part of diversifying is looking for that, especially if you're in a big family. For me, one of my income streams is that I'm in an online wellness shopping club. I'm in that online wellness shopping club for two reasons. One, we are a big family. We do eat, we clean, we take vitamins, we're into our health, all those different things. And so I wanted to save money. We spend a lot of money just on food and gas and everything else. So I was looking for a way to save. Also, because I no longer work at Whole Foods, I don't get my discount on the healthy items I was used to using and the eco-friendly items I was used to using. So for me, I wanted to be able to still live that lifestyle, but do it in a cost-effective way. So I joined the online wellness shopping club that I'm in because of the benefits it gives to my family from the products we use and stuff. The second part of that is it's also an additional income stream. So I think a lot of times look for programs or businesses or memberships or different things that fit your current lifestyle, that fit what your interests are and things that you're into. Hi, Eric. Eric is in the same online wellness shopping club as me, and he's actually doing phenomenally well. Like he's doing, I believe, better in that business than even in his normal career. So that's super awesome. Eric is someone that I'm definitely inspired by. But again, going back to that, really looking, what are your interests? What is your lifestyle? What does your family unit look like? And keeping in mind and taking into account those things when you're looking for things to diversify and to get into. So always making sure to diversify and not putting all your eggs in one basket, because when you do that, you're highly dependent on that one thing. Number 5, be flexible and have grace. Be flexible and have grace with yourself and also with your partner. I mentioned this quote before, paraphrasing, so I don't know it verbatim. I mentioned it yesterday, I think too, but it was a quote and it said, people tend to judge others based off their actions, and yet they want to be judged based off their intentions. And I always thought that was interesting, because it's like when you look at other people, you judge them based on what they actually did or didn't do. But when it comes to ourselves, oftentimes we're like, well, my intentions were good, and I was meaning to do this, or I was meaning to say that. And don't judge me off of what I did, judge based on where I'm coming from. And it's interesting because it's almost like a double standard. And so with keeping that in mind, when it comes to business and goals and how you operate, and maybe sometimes you might have a failing forward moment, be flexible and understanding that there's multiple ways to go about business. Maybe you're initially trying Facebook as a main way to find leads, and you discover that, you know what, you get a lot of engagement interaction on Instagram. Be flexible. Maybe try that and stick with that for a few months and see, especially when you're first starting out. Everyone's sort of different. I don't feel like it's flip-flopping. I feel like it's figuring out where your sweet spot is. So be flexible, be okay with change. Things, the only constant is change, and have grace. Don't beat yourself up, don't beat your partner up, but have grace and understanding that as long as you're continuing to move forward, it's not failure, it's failing forward. And eventually you will get in your groove, you will get that flow and that abundance that you're looking for. Number 6, and we're going to wrap it up soon. Involve the kids when and where you can. I've talked about this a few different times, but our kids are watching us. They're watching if we have goals. They're watching if we're just going through life on autopilot every day. They're watching if we have dreams. They're watching, are we communicating? Are we reading books? Are we listening to webinars? Are we listening to audios? Are we building ourselves up? Are we encouraging ourselves? Are we being good stewards of the money and the things that we do have? Are we grateful, or are we always complaining? Our kids are watching us. And I think one of the best things I did was be very transparent with my kids in my entrepreneurial and business ownership journey that I'm on. I've been very honest with them. There are times where I might be finished cooking dinner. I'm like, I'll be right at the dinner table. I have a few quotes I got to get out for some cleaning projects. So give me a minute, and I'm sorry, but I want to get this done because I want to kind of take care of this customer so I can spend time with you guys. If I've had experience where something didn't go right and I've been disappointed, I've shared that with my kids because I want them to see, yes, Dane, I want them to see the full view of it. And I think it sets our kids up for even more success. It shows them that there's options, that there's more than one way to make a living. there's just different things you can do. And so when and where you can involve your kids, and pay attention to your kids, listen to your children and see what their interests are. With my daughter, thank you, Dane. There you go. With Ava, I know a lot of you who, at least who follow me, know. She was dealing with bullying. I've since switched her. She doesn't go to that school anymore, but I was very involved in talking with the counselors and the teachers and different things. But when she was dealing with bullying, she really, really got into art, and that became a big expression for her. And at her new school, I pick her up, and sometimes she say, "Hey, can I go to the store? Can I get a snack? Can I do this?" And I'm like, "Okay, you have money," because I ask my kid. I do let them know that things are not just free. And she would just have money. I'm like, "Where are you getting money from?" I know how much I gave you for allowance or, pocket money. And she would just say, "Well, so-and-so asked me to draw a picture," and I, told them I would have to charge them, and they paid me. And so I drew them a picture. I was like, "Ava, you're an artist. Like, you're technically open for commissions. Like, you're being commissioned to do artwork and you're getting paid." I was like, "You're an entrepreneur. Like, you're not just an artist, you're an entrepreneur." And her eyes sort of lit up. I remember when I told her, and I was like, "Well, what are your thoughts on if I helped you make your business something like an online business where you could reach more people and your artwork could be accessible to more people and you could make money from it? Like, you could have a legitimate business." And she was like, "I could do that. I'm 11." And she was sort of shocked, but I was like, "Yeah." And over the course of a weekend, that's honestly how Emo by Ava was created. The kids call each other Emo. She's emotional. Her characters, the things she draws are emotional. It was an outlet. So that's how Emo by Ava.com was born. But even in that process, like coming up with character names and stuff like that, my daughter's involved. It's just not just that she draws pictures or she creates designs and I do everything. She's involved. Even this week, she had her first meeting. She's going to partner with a nonprofit organization. So she's about to introduce a philanthropic arm to her business at the age of 12. So don't underestimate your children, but involve them. Be transparent and let them, because you never know what they may create, either in childhood or as an adult, based off of the example that you've been giving them and living. And then number 7, make time for self-care and for your marriage. I think when we have goals, when we are trying to meet a certain number of sales, or we've got bills and we've got financial goals, it's very easy to get totally consumed in work in the business of it and all the technicalities and all the things we have to do, which is understandable. But I definitely think and that's why it's so important to have a strong base, to have a strong understanding. That's why it's so important to take care of ourselves and be good to ourselves, because you can't pour from an empty glass, right? You can't be your best self and be the best promoter or marketer or consultant or coach or make the best products or all these things if you are emotionally lacking, if you are not operating at 100%, if you aren't at your full self, because you've just been what do they say, burning the candle from both ends. You have to make sure to take time to replenish yourself. And self-care is a buzzword. It's something that everyone's using and saying. So what self-care looks like to each and every person very well may be different. But I think if nothing else, and like I was saying even earlier, get to know and understand yourself so that whatever self-care is for you is what you make sure to incorporate into your life. You want to make sure, whether it's just you get an hour away from the kids where you can just go and read a book or something, get out the house, or if you're into massages and you've got a budget for that, or getting your nails done, or my husband has his video truck driving game that he loves. He's into Formula One and NASCAR, like whatever it is, making sure you find at least once a week some time for yourself to replenish yourself. And then, like I said, if you're in a marriage or lifelong partnership, whether you and your spouse are in business together or you have your own things or only one person is in business, either way, making sure to give your relationship some attention to, because I don't believe that you can have it all. I think you can have success in business and in love, but you have to put your energy and attention in both. And at different times in life, you might put into more than the other. But I think as long as you are aware and you're making note of it, and you're being very intentional and purposeful, then that's the key, and that's what matters. Hold on, Jail. You wrote a long comment. I am going to read this for sure. But Dane is handing me ketchup, and I got to get him something to eat, so I'm going to hop off. And I've been talking for 20 minutes. So overall, I do hope this was helpful. If you are looking for something that's like more so lifestyle-based, like I was saying, you're looking to diversify, you got a big family or even a small family, you're interested, I can tell you what one of the things I'm doing. You can feel free to send me a message or put in the comments, and I'll connect with you. And if you're in business, I know a lot of times I talk about Wednesday webinars, and you're curious, they're free. You can register. The link is in the description. Thanks for pulling me, Dave. I'm being pulled right now. I'm not swaying back and forth for no reason. You can feel free to register and check out that webinar tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But either way, just wanted to get on here, put some thoughts out. I definitely think it's worth a conversation. Wanted to have a conversation and put that bug in your ear, food for thought, if you hadn't thought about it or considered it. These 7 things. I hope this was helpful. Feel free to like, comment, share, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye.